What's good, Z Nation? We are back today with Scary Thursday, and it's I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm always curious about what people find in caves, because you're in the dark, so you're gonna hallucinate stuff. But man, there's been some footage that I've seen that is not, well, as best as I can tell, and I do pretty good at picking up on Photoshop stuff, but it doesn't appear to be Photoshop to me. So, kind of like, is that light reflecting somewhere, or is that actually you're in a pitch black cave, no light, but you see something glowing? But yeah, there's some weird stuff that's been caught on camera in caves, so that's one of my favorite go-tos for something scary. Also, why I don't do a lot of cave exploring or the like abandoned hospitals. Hell no. Hell no. You ain't gonna catch me in none of that shit. But yeah, let's get on into this, see what's in store. In case y'all wondering, I love Most Amazing Top 10. They cover some really good shit, and they do a lot of research on this and get a lot of information for it before they do a video about it. So that's why I love going to their stuff, because it's very insightful. You get a lot of information out of it too. But let's get on into this.
Humans have a complex relationship with caves. On the one hand, they've often provided us with shelter from the elements or predators that want to eat us. They were basically our first natural homes. However, they're also dark places, which can hide things that will keep you up at night. Most people avoid these caves for their whole lives, but the ones that venture into them have returned with some truly horrifying stories. Here are 10 of the best. My name is Danny Burke. This is the top 10 scary caves that should never have been explored. Coming at number 10 now, we have the Hellfire Caves. The name like that, it obviously had to be on the list. These caves in England sprawl for a quarter of a mile underground and were first excavated in the 1700s.
I think I've heard about them.
The man responsible for the excavation was Francis Dashwood. He was the co-founder of the Hellfire Club, a secret society said to have held meetings in the caves. As the years rolled on, the caves became famous for the group's supposed dark rituals, orgies, and devil worship. The group eventually disbanded, but something seemed to stay behind there. Those who visit the caves say they feel a presence, the ghosts of the members still wandering the dimly lit rooms. Apparitions appear and then disappear in front of people's eyes. Echoes come from nowhere and last for ages, and a deep sense of dread grips people as they go further into the caves. Next up at number 9 now, we have the Belmont Cave. According to legend, in 1804, a farmer called John Bell bought some land in Tennessee for his family to live in. There was a cave on the property which locals claimed was haunted by a woman called Kate Batts, who felt she was cheated by the Bell family in the land purchase. By 1817, strange sightings had started happening of animals and apparitions. The family would hear knocking on their door and dragging along the walls outside of the house. When they went to investigate, there was always nothing there. They began to hear choking and growling noises. Their youngest daughter was scratched by unseen forces. She had her hair pulled and was beaten to a pulp. Once the family were driven out, the hauntings seemed to stop. Locals say the Bell Witch returned to her cave, where she still remains to this day. Visitors can take a tour, but it is not for the faint-hearted. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Cave of Sybil. The ancient Greeks, like many cultures around the world, believed there were certain portals on Earth to the underworld and that naturally they should be avoided. To them, the Cave of Sybil was one of them. It's located in the ancient Greek settlement of Cumae, near what is now modern-day Naples. According to legend, even birds won't fly over the cave for fear of being pulled into the underworld. Locals say the 700-year-old oracle of the dead called Priestess Sybil guards the gateway and acts as a sort of guide for people on their descent towards Hades. She won't take you to the underworld if you avoid the cave, but if you step inside, some say you're as good as dead. Moving on to number 7 now, we have the Well of Sacrifice. This one is located a short walk from the main city of Chichen Itza. Many tourists visit that ancient pyramid site, but not as many people go to the Well of Sacrifice nearby. How do I know? Well, I was one of them. I went to Chichen Itza the other year.
Hold up. Quick question. Does a pyramid count as a cave? I just thought about that. Because, like, a pyramid is basically a man-made mountain. And if you go inside of it, you're going into the earth. Because, like, I never really thought about that. I'm not a fan of investigating a cave. But what if it's a pyramid? You don't even know if you're actually going down below the surface either whenever you're going in there, because they could have it sloped. I'll have to think about that. Put in the comments if going in a pyramid counts as going into a cave. I'm curious to know y'all's thoughts.
That this was just around the corner. Perhaps that's for the best though. The Well of Sacrifice is a limestone sinkhole cave. In 1904, an American explorer dredged it to collect pieces of gold, copper and pottery from the water below. He was amazed to find just how old and far-flung the artifacts were. However, the dredging also uncovered a very dark Mayan secret. He found bodies, lots of them. The cave contained the remains of at least 120 adults and many children. The bones seem to suggest that the victims had been flayed. The findings seem to fit with the ancient stories of Mayans pushing people into the hole while they were still alive. The 65-foot fall into the water probably wouldn't have killed them, which meant they drowned while trying to use their broken limbs to stay afloat. What a horrible thought. Next up at number 6 now, we have the Chiselhurst Caves. This vast complex in England contains some 22 miles of passageway split into 3 distinct sections named Saxon, Druid and Roman. They later join up through other connecting passages. People have mined the caves there for thousands of years, but the earliest written record comes from around 1250. In more modern times, the mines were home to people escaping the bombing of London during the Second World War. The history, turmoil and darkness of these stony hallways seems to have intertwined and left a very dark energy behind. People regularly report hearing screams, murmurs, children giggling and footsteps echoing from deep within the labyrinth. Locals say it's the ghosts of those who died there and want to let the living know of their eternal horror. Moving on to number 5 now, we have the Moaning Cavern. These caves are found in Vallecito, California, and when people say they moan, they aren't kidding. Areas whip through the caverns, creating this sort of strange moaning sound throughout them. That's the official explanation anyway. Locals have a different story. They say it's down to the Tommyknockers, strange, mythical leprechaun-like creatures. Some believe they are the spirits of those who have died in the caves over the years. Why are these Tommyknockers there? Well, opinion is divided on that too. Some say the creatures are warning cavers of potential collapses. Others say they are actually evil spirits who cause those collapses which kill people. Either way, many people avoid the caves because they don't want to take the risk of finding out which way they will go. Coming at number 4 now, we have Robbers Cave. This one is located in Nebraska and has long been known as a sacred meeting spot for the Pawnee Indians. The cave system lies directly below an area where the tribe used to carry out traditional practices such as healing, animal spirit powers, and medicinal work. Some say the deep connection they made with the earth there has had a lasting impact on the land. Long after the area was abandoned, locals claim they still hear the sounds of beating drums and chanting as if the rituals are being performed by the ghosts there. They also say that from the outside you can hear screams and moans coming from the caves. Moving on to number 3 now, we have the Mammoth Cave. This one really creeped me out for a number of different reasons. Firstly, it's huge. This Kentucky cave is said to contain 400 miles of explored area, and that's only the parts we know of. Experts say there could be a lot more we haven't seen yet. Archaeological evidence seems to suggest that Native Americans were mining the cave as far back as 4,000 years ago. They did this very successfully, using the materials to make tools and weapons. At one point, they even began burying their dead there. Things continued like this for another 2,000 years, but then, for some reason, they abandoned the cave and never returned. All evidence suggests they just left the cave and never went back again. What was the reason for this? Did they find something horrific in the depths of the cave system, or did something find them? The only way to find out is to keep exploring it. Any volunteers? Next up at number 2 now, we have the Washaba Street Caves. This one is quite unique in a number of ways. Firstly, it looks like a normal building from the outside, located in St. Paul, Minnesota. It was built into sandstone caves along the Mississippi River, so so that locals could mine silica. Over the years, though, it was overrun by gangsters who used the caves as a base of operations. According to legend, these gangsters were gunned down in the caves in the early 1930s. The brutality of their deaths left restless spirits behind in the caves. The ghostly sightings of them have continued to this day. Some even say the ghosts have begun to wander out of the caves and into the cafe next door, giving people the fright of their lives. Staff and customers have reported seeing the apparitions of a woman sitting at the bar with a man in a Panama hat. Many people would want to avoid seeing such a sight, but if you do, they have a cave tour there for just $8. Not bad. And finally, number one now, we have the Devil's Hole. This is a very famous creepy cave that lies near Niagara Falls. The 20-foot deep cave was first talked about by the Native Americans of the area. They said the cave was the home of a demon-like snake called the Evil One. He is said to embody everything evil in the world. Some of the tribe who entered never came out. Others returned with their hair turned from black to solid white in pure terror from their encounter. They couldn't even describe what they had seen because they'd lost their minds inside the cave. They tried to warn the early French explorers of the evil inside, but they didn't listen. One of them went inside and was murdered shortly after by his own men. In 1763, a conflict occurred between the British and the Native Americans there. The result was 80 British soldiers being scalped and thrown into the cave along with their horses. Although it's been many years since these events, people say you can still feel the evil presence by simply walking past the entrance to the cave. Those stories kind of make me want to go and visit a cave. Is that weird? Am I asking
Nope.
for trouble? What's the creepiest cave story you guys have ever heard? Let's hear some good ones in the comment section below. What video do you guys want to see next? Thanks for watching as always. My name is Danny Burke and I will see you all in the next video.
Alright, yeah. Sorry, I got chills. Anyways. Not a fan of that. Try to find something that I find scary and dark places in Earth where you can't see anything, that's a no. Buildings where someone else could be psychotically just sitting there waiting for someone to walk through and kill them, no. So, but what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Anyways, the thunder hitting did not help with any of that because it just kept on hitting after that one. But next up, tomorrow y'all get to enjoy a good funny Friday. So I don't know what's in store yet for that. We'll find out though. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment something you want me to react to. I might do like gaming Sundays or something. And random reactions, like if y'all got some super random reaction that's not in my Monday through Friday stuff, then I might do that on Saturday. I don't know yet. Just kind of all up in the air. Yeah, hope y'all enjoyed it though. Tomorrow's gonna be a better day. Deuces.